Good morning, comrades, and today is definitely a good morning because it's very exceptional to have such a sunny but also pretty windy weather at the Nürburgring. But let's not talk about the weather, let's talk about our main subject of today's video, the Sub7UP. But first of all, let me give a huge shout out and thumbs up to Tom Stam for creating the amazing intro that you've seen this video, and I hope you enjoyed. And also, if not, just make sure to follow him, give him a sub on his Instagram page that you can find in the description of this video. Before I'm gonna tell you about every single mod and introduce this car more in detail to the new audience, let me just say it out straight. I told you that this car is going to be added to our rental fleet, and for the older audience who already know about it, I'm just gonna say it out loud. This car is now officially part of Apex Nürburg rental fleet, and you can rent this car for 80 euros a lap on the Nürburgring Nordschleife, including fuel, excluding lap ticket or track day entry. And if you book before the end of this month, before February, you get even additional discount for 60 euro a lap. When, well, we'll be probably even making loss on that. So it's, again, well, now let me just tell you why we're going to be making loss on it once you understand all the mods that we have put on this car, in this car. It's totally crazy. Initially, we wanted to have something special for this car regarding the rental terms and conditions, or actually procedure, but since it's taking a bit too long, we just decided to go the traditional way, whereby you just come, arrive, pay, go out, drive, and that's it. But this is something special. The idea is still there and will be probably applied to another car in the future. For that, make sure to stay tuned and follow our social media channels. Now, let's get to all of the upgrades. 7UP, there are probably more than 7 upgrades on this car. Let's start on the outside. I mean, appearance, yes, it's a fabulous car. I'm pretty sure your girlfriends or even maybe mothers or maybe mother-in-law are gonna be like, oh, that's a cute little car, I want to drive it. So make sure to give it to them for Mother's Day, for their birthdays, and all, I don't know how many holidays you want to celebrate this year. But now, apart from the cute appearance on the inside, it's a real monster, the beast of the green hell. There's plenty of green in it. But let's start with the most important part when it comes to track driving, and it's the handling. So on the outside, we see those amazing Nankang AR1 tires, semi-slicks. Yep, street legal. And for me, I'm just gonna say it out loud, those are probably the best bang for buck tires out there, just like this car. By the way, don't worry, the tires will be obviously renewed for the 2018 seasons. Those are my old tires that I used to run the full season, so roughly I think I did close to 5,000 kilometers on a track with this car on one set of tires. I'm also gonna be honest with you by saying that there are definitely tires out there with more grip, but how much more grip? Probably like 5, maybe tops 10%, but the price is double. And those 5% more grip over those tires, only like, I don't know, again, 5% of the driving population will ever notice by driving on the limits. In fact, I must say that I've been impressed this much with the tire performance of this particular tire that most probably we're gonna run the AR1s on every single Apex car. Of course, we're also gonna have wet tires, although I must say the performance in the wet, although it may not seem so, is actually very good. There's actually a video of me chasing a ring taxi in the wet BMW M3 while me driving the Sub7UP on those tires in the full wet conditions. So actually it's very, very good. Now, moving on from the tires, the rims, again, this is mostly the appearance point, although I must say smaller rim, lower mass, so that gives you a bit of more torque, better handling, also lighter Cosmos S1 wheel. And a big shout out to Cosmos for putting the size out here in case I would forget. Very, very nice with some carbon fiber stickers on it. But behind them is a more important component for track driving, namely the brakes. I used to run endless brake pads that you could recognize on the blue color. Holy shit.
Yeah, but this is normal.
Right now I run the Charoudin brake pads and a stock discs. I used to run Terox, and I must say the brake performance is almost equal because the car weighs less than 1,000 kilos and thereby it's perfectly fine. More important, however, what you don't see on this video are the brake lines, which is steel lines, and also the braking fluid, the high performance racing fluid. So you can have optimal brake performance at all time in any circumstances, no matter how many laps you do in the row. Oh yeah. Now, this is it for the outside, and let's go to the inside. And usually I would open the door, but in this case I'm gonna open the trunk lid because look in the rear, the amazing view over the Vickers cage. This is a full spec Vickers cage with every single modification specification that you can get. Very sturdy and rigid, thereby reducing the body roll, which improves the handling of the car. Obviously very safe and lightweight. And what else do you want to ask from a roll cage? I mean, you can give it a fancy color, but we are here about track driving. So let's move on to the next and probably the most important and awesome component of this car that you probably already noticed. Look at how cute the camber plate adjustment is. So this is definitely the front, and this is the rear. These are the external reservoirs of the JRZ RS Pro two-way adjustable suspension, special Apex Nürburg Nordschleife edition for uncompromised handling on the world's most demanding and also world's most awesome racetrack. I'm gonna say it out loud, this upgrade alone costs half of the car by itself. And without going too much into details, I must say it is absolutely worth it. And speaking of the price again, this is why I said that we're probably gonna be making loss on renting this car out for Nürburgring Nordschleife. Now let's move on to another upgrade, because I can talk about the looks and all the adjustment possibilities that you have with this suspension, but this is something you just need to come here, drive the car and feel it for yourself. Another upgrade that we can see here are Schroth harnesses. To be precise, 4-point harnesses. And for people who are gonna ask, why not 6 points? Well, because this car is aimed at track enthusiasts who don't want to struggle with getting in and putting on the 6-point harnesses, making more adjustments, costing more time before you can just go out and drive this car. And speaking of practicality and user-friendliness, let me refer back to Wiecher's cage, and in particular this crossbar. Look how amazing, awesome and smart it is engineered. It does not obstruct getting in or out of the car. Moving on to the next final upgrade that we can find on the inside, but a very, very important one, are those Recaro pool position seats. I just don't know what to say, honestly, and I'm just gonna keep it simple, and you just have to believe me, and also believe all the other people who always support me in my saying that those are simply the most comfortable bucket seats out there on the market.
I like pole position.
Yeah, me too.
Best seat ever.
Absolutely. Can have long distance drive with it, and no problem. Yeah, it is. But the best way to do that is probably just getting over here, getting in those seats, grabbing the steering wheel, engaging the first gear, and go out there and drive the world's most awesome racetrack, the Nürburgring Nordschleife, and be convinced that this is again the best bang for buck car that you can get to rent to drive the Nürburgring Nordschleife. Now there's just one final upgrade which we cannot see. You just have to believe, or actually watch one of my previous videos where we put the car on the dyno and did the chip tuning to it. Yes, I'm talking about the increased horsepower in form. I always get distracted by those awesome external reservoirs of JRZ RS Pro suspension. Anyway, stock power, 90 horsepower right now. Wheel horsepower. This means that the car roughly has 150 or maybe even close to 160 horsepower on the crank because of the calculated wheel loss. But I must say, 126 wheel horsepower and a sub-1,000 kilogram total weight. This car upsets plenty of supercars. Unparalleled handling. I mean, it makes me so enthusiastic. You know what? If you are not convinced yet, then why am I even trying? So make sure to check out the video description down below. Shoot me an email, book your first laps in the world's most known up and in general the best value for money track car that you can get on the Nürburgring Nordschleife. And usually I say what's going to happen in tomorrow's vlog, but probably nothing, because I'll be busy answering all of your emails and booking requests.